Hamas may be plotting a terror attack in the UK, the intelligence dossier has warned. This story has been covered by a few outlets, Daily Record, Daily Mirror, etc. And the report compiled by Western intelligence experts suggests that the devastating losses the group has suffered at home in the Gaza Strip may actually make it more likely that they will strike out elsewhere in the world. And it warns that Hamas sleeper cells could now be activated as Hamas seeks to lash out at Israeli-linked businesses as well as Israeli diplomatic missions and religious sites. The report says evidence accumulated between 2019 and 2025 demonstrates that Hamas undertook long-term preparations for potential global operations. These efforts included embedding trusted operatives across Europe. I wonder how they got here. Establishing covert weapon caches and cultivating operational links with organised crime gangs. Activation of these networks both before and after the 7th of October signals a decisive and potentially endangering shift in Hamas strategy. The organisation's willingness to exploit European territory for operational purposes represents a significant escalation, necessitating sustained vigilance, strategic clarity and coordinated action from Western security agencies. The file goes on. European and other intelligence services supported by Israeli agencies have repeatedly uncovered early stage plots, weapons caches, organised crime connections and logistic networks designed to support contingency operations. This bit's very interesting if you're Scottish and you've ever listened to any of the videos I've done about Humza Yousaf and some strange decisions he overturned when he was the First Minister of Scotland. It claims Hamas has also built links with legitimate organisations such as charities and NGOs. Now there's a separate video I'm going to be doing soon. I'm just waiting for some feedback from someone more informed than me about what these Hamas have been doing with what they call guarantors when any NGOs bring in any foreign people to Gaza. And that will be an intriguing thing to find out even more details on that. But they have certainly had UNRWA on their friends list. That is the group that Humza Yousaf overturned a ministerial decision who wanted to give money to UNICEF, and he overturned that and gave the money to UNRWA. So the Hamas is supported by Lebanon and Iran, the report says. The dossier includes pictures of weapons caches and says Hamas may also be using drones. Countries listed in the report include Germany, the Netherlands, Austria, Italy, Belgium and Switzerland, as well as the UK. The killing of leaders including Samar al-Hajj last year only make foreign attacks more likely, the report author warns, as Hamas is keen to put on shows of strength. A shift towards more global operations was already underway well before 2019. As the report notes, collected intelligence over the last decade indicates a deliberate strategic shift towards developing foreign operational capabilities. The Islamic resistant movement, also known as, I'll try my best, Harakah al-Muqawara al-Islamiyah, or Hamas, was formed in 1987 during the first Intifada against Israel's occupation of West Bank and Gaza. It began governing the Gaza Strip in 2007, and its operatives led the massacre in Israel on October the 7th, 2023. As well as killing 1,200 people, the Hamas-led fighters took around 250 hostages. Israel responded with a sustained onslaught that has also so far killed more than 70,000 Palestinians in Gaza, the Hamas-run health minister reports. The report adds, the 7th of October 2023 assault fundamentally altered Israel's threat perceptions, but has also reshaped Hamas calculations. Following catastrophic damage to its infrastructure in Gaza and significant leadership attrition, the group's remaining command nodes, particularly those in Lebanon, began activating contingency plans long under development. These include the mobilisation of European-based operatives, smashing it, retrieval of pre-positioned weapons, and cooperation with criminal networks to acquire additional material. Colonel Richard Kemp, a former advisor to the UK government on terrorism and commander of the UK forces in Afghanistan, said it was entirely possible that Hamas felt the need to launch attacks outside Gaza and into Europe. He added, they are popular in Gaza and the West Bank, so they feel they have to continue their attacks no matter how degraded they are. Europe would be in place to expect attacks of this sort, and the threat is apparently quite real as Hamas try to assert its influence. It is of course possible to trace all of their support back to the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps and their Iranian paymasters, since they have similar ambitions to do harm to Israel and Israelis. But he added that as the risk of Hamas attacks increased, Britain would increasingly have to rely on Israeli intelligence to help disrupt the plots. The current threat of a terror attack in the UK is assessed by MI5 and the Joint Terror Analysis Centre to be substantial. The threat is apparently quite real as Hamas tries to assert its influence. So, this is quite scary, to be frank and honest with you. Dossiers, intelligence dossiers, are coming up with this sort of information. And I just can't believe the amount of people who live in the United Kingdom and are continually hoodwinked by propaganda that starts from a terror organisation. Because as you've heard in this dossier alone, there's the claim, which substantiated claim, that Hamas actually run things like the health ministry. So when they tell you how many people have died during the conflict, then you're actually taking the word of terrorists. And I've seen as recently as today, some people like Tommy Sheridan telling us that these people are not terrorists, they're freedom fighters. Freedom fighters don't use their own people as shields. Freedom fighters don't use their own hospitals to protect arms dumps. And if anybody wants to ignore these facts, then good luck to you. You're a crank, because these things have happened. This mob are not very nice. And I've said for a long, long time, the whole time of this current conflict, in fact, that those people taking to the streets in those cities across the UK shouting, "Free, free Palestine," the best thing you could probably get for the freedom of people, particularly in Gaza, would be the demise of Hamas. Because this organisation took power in some dubious manner in 2007 and have had zero elections ever since. They are not nice people. Take to Google, I challenge you, and put in where do the top 5 or the top 10, whatever number you want, richest Gazians or Palestinians live. And you'll find they all live in Qatar. And ask for their values. They have established multi-billion pound value of assets, cash, etc. Which is amazing for a country that has zero exports practically, zero industry. Yet, the richest people by far in that area are people that are leaders of Hamas. And guess what? They don't live in Gaza. So stop being idiots. Stop falling for the constant spin that these people... Now, I'm no supporter of wars. right? And I'm quite prepared to accept that there's been fault on both sides of this war. But what I'm sick of listening to is people not interested in any bad of this group called Hamas, who are a terror group, regardless if you want to hold them up as freedom fighters or not. I'm not listening. If you want others to see this video, click the thumbs up, put your comments below and hit the share button. If you've not already done so, or you think you have, just double check that you've hit the subscribe button, and if not, hit the subscribe button below, please. But more important than all that, unless you're these cranks that are wanting to remain naive to the threat of your very self and your country by fundamentalists from Gaza, then know you. But everyone else, have a great day. Cheery bye now.